Hey guys, I'm Denny Chapman and welcome to The Gun Show. Today we're talking about the Daniel Defense DDM4 PDW and part 1 of Dead Air Silencer Suppressor 101. Remember guys, you can always go back and watch this entire episode after the fact on the Gun Show YouTube channel and on excluded.com. And we want to thank you for your engagement. You've been hitting those buttons, doing a great job. Like, subscribe, comment, and share. You guys have been helping set a positive two-way algorithm on social media. And you can help right now simply by dropping a note in the comment section and let us know where you're watching from. All right, guys, we're going to kick things off with Mike Pappas and Jake Dwyer and part 1 of Suppressor 101. Check this out.
Okay, so let's kick it off.
Okay.
Shall we?
Yeah, no, let's get serious.
Let's get serious with question number 1. How do you actually buy a suppressor?
Generally, it works like this. You need to get the like, do I want to get a rimfire cannon or am I into centerfire handgun?
We'll get into that later, yeah.
Pistols, but you've got to get excited about something. Then you go to a store that carries NFA. An SOT kind of
right,
vendor.
so you could go to an actual like gun shop that
correct.
Carries NFA items. Yep.
Tell them what you want. They will sell it to you, print you a Form 4, which you sign, fingerprints, passport photos, and a check for $200 and send it in. Mm-hmm. It'll come back to that store. They'll call you. You'll 4473, log it out, take it home. You're done. It's not that big a deal.
And I mean, it's always varying, but an average lead time to get that Form 4 back from the ATF, 6 to 9 months-ish.
I think that's fair.
Depending on, now granted, like this year, like election year, it's probably going to creep up as the year goes, but who knows?
It's hard to say. It might go up and it might go down. People will call us all excited. Oh, I got it in 6 weeks, 10 weeks, and then other people will be like,
it's a year.
Yeah, I think those are both outliers.
Yeah, they are. It's a bummer that it is that unpredictable, but those are the cards that we are currently dealt, so kind of is what it is. But yeah, for people who are like, how do you, what and shoot, even a step before you go to the gun store, does your state allow suppressors?
We're going to show the next part of that series on an upcoming episode of The Gun Show, so make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and to excluded.com as well to make sure you catch all the other great 2A content there as well. Now, we're going to take a closer look at this Daniel Defense PDW here right after our safety segment. Let's take just a moment and review the 4 cardinal rules of gun safety. Here we go. Rule number 1, treat all guns as if they're loaded at all times. Makes sense, right? Common sense. Number 2, never point your gun at anything you're not willing to shoot or destroy. Number 3, that's your trigger finger. Keep your finger away from the trigger until you are ready to fire. And number 4 is your target. Always know your target, what's in front, beside, behind, and beyond that target. The 4 cardinal rules of gun safety, guys. If you watch this show enough, you're going to have them memorized. All right. Now, this is the Daniel Defense DDM4 PDW, which stands for Personal Defense Weapon. It's an SBR. I'm throwing lots of letters at you guys today. SBR means short barreled rifle. Now, this is an NFA item, I should say, and we're going to discuss that more in just a little bit. This is a semi-auto AR configuration chambered in 300 Blackout, one of my favorite cartridges. This 300 Blackout cartridge was basically developed to run out of an AR-15 magazine, or an AR-style magazine, I should say, and to push a 30 caliber bullet out to short or intermediate distances. I should say one of the most important aspects of the 300 Blackout round is that it was basically made to be suppressed, as it could be loaded to subsonic velocities and still perform as it was designed. Now, let's go over some of the features of this rifle. One of the first things you notice when you look at the PDW here is that it's very compact. It has a very short profile. Matter of fact, the overall length of the PDW is just over 20 inches from end to end when the buttstock is fully collapsed here. Let's pick this rifle up, just do a safety check, and we'll review some of the other features of this rifle. Now you can see here we've got a chamber flag here, this yellow piece of plastic right there. I am going to open the bolt, I'm going to lock it back. I'm going to take that chamber flag out. Let's talk about this just a minute. Chamber flag does just what it sounds like. It occupies the chamber. This portion of the chamber flag here basically serves as a round that would be occupying the chamber. So when this chamber flag's in here, there physically cannot be a round in the chamber. So check this out. This is a great safety device, guys. It's a little 50-cent piece of plastic. If you're not going to keep your gun in condition 1, condition 1, by the way, means loaded, chambered, and ready to fire. If it's not going to be in condition 1 and you're storing it, why not throw that chamber flag in there, guys? It's a great visual indicator that the gun is empty, it cannot be fired, and you might as well use it. You can never be safe enough, right? Now, on the business end of this rifle, let's really look at it from front to back here. We have a linear compensator. What is a linear compensator? By the way, as I'm pointing this gun, I want to let you guys know the cameras are remote. The producers on that side today, we don't have any staff or anybody in this part or this part up of the studio. So I can safely point this unloaded gun in these directions and be in good shape. I want to be a good safety example to you guys as well. Linear compensators keep the gases forward and away from you, away from your face, away from your hands, away from your body, away from other people. And it also will reduce the sound signature a little bit. I'm going to use my fingers here and say a little bit because even with a linear compensator, you're still going to need ear protection, but you're definitely going to notice a little bit of reduction in the sound. It's going to take a little bite out of that sound. And you know, with this device, you can find a lot of great videos on YouTube that dig into these linear devices and show you how they work. Let's talk about this barrel here. The barrel is threaded. It's a 5/8 by 24 thread. Now, the two most common threads are 5/8 by 24 and a half by 28. So that means that this threaded barrel is ready for your choice of a different muzzle device. And as I mentioned, this cartridge was designed to be suppressed. So what would I do? I'd throw a dead air Sandman on this rifle in a heartbeat. The barrel itself is only 7 inches in length, and it was basically designed to keep the overall profile short and not to add too much velocity to that 300 blackout round to keep it subsonic when it's in a suppressed configuration. And it's really super handy with the short barrel. The barrel, by the way, is hammer forged, which I love. I love hammer forging. If you watch this show enough, you've heard me say that many, many times. The hammer forging process makes very accurate barrels. The process does not leave bits of metal in the lands and grooves of the barrel that need to be polished out. I love hammer forging. It's a great feature of this rifle. Here, check out this handguard here. We have an MFR XL 6-inch handguard. It's got M-lock slots here, so you can attach a lot of cool accessory. You might want to put a light, a laser, or some other accessory on the handguard of this rifle. Got a hand stop here. You see that little piece sticking out there? It is removable. You can also move it forward and back on this handguard. It's called a hand stop, and it serves exactly that purpose, guys. It stops your hand from going too far forward and getting too close to the business end of this firearm here. Hand stops are great for short-barreled firearms such as this PDW SBR. Let's talk about grip a little bit. So, you know, if you watch me enough, you know I like to point my finger alongside the barrel when I'm gripping my long guns, whether they're rifles or shotguns. I will grip in this fashion because it helps me point very quickly at the target that I need to shoot. So I like to point my fingers. If you're not a finger pointer, you might do a total C-clamp and move it forward. Since I point my finger, I would actually move this hand stop back a little bit, and it's easily adjustable just by loosening up the screw, move it back a little bit, and tighten it back up. And you can move that hand stop and basically customize it to yourself. The handguard itself has a really nice full-length Picatinny rail, blends in really nicely with the upper receiver. If you run you can obviously see where it blends, but you can't really feel it. It feels really good. When I run my finger across the last portion of the pick rail on the handguard and the first portion on the upper receiver, I can barely feel that little groove because they did a great job of engineering the handguard so that it blends in very nicely. And as you can see here, I've mounted a Trijicon MRO. I love Trijicon red dots. I like all kinds of red dots, and if you've watched me enough, you know I have a wide variety of personal red dots that I use. I love the Trigicon quality. I've actually put a riser on this one just so it would be correct for me for my cheek weld. And when I have a natural cheek weld here, I'm looking directly through that red dot sight. You know, some of you might have a lower cheek weld. You may not use that riser, you may not need it. It also depends on if you're going to put flip-up sights. Because it has a pick rail, a full-length pick rail, you can put flip-up sights here, like the Magwell M-Bus, for instance. You can even put an LPVO on here. LPVO, you know what that means? If you watch this show enough, you know what it means because I've explained it a few times. LPVO stands for Low Power Variable Optic. LPVOs are scopes that are made for ARs. They're in the 1:4 magnification, 1:6, 1:8. Sometimes you can find them even in 1:10. Personally, I think a red dot would suit this firearm very well. We've got an ambi rip and grip. I'm going to move that bolt carrier forward here. You can activate this carrier, the charging handle from either side. It is truly ambidextrous. I love that fact. Let's talk about the stock a little bit. We've been showing it to you. We haven't really talked about it yet. This is the Maxim CQB SBR stock. It could be adjusted to 4 different configurations. This is the longest configuration. This is the shortest. And you've got a couple of spots in between that you can adjust it to as well. It's only 24 inches long when the stock is fully extended. So it keeps a very short overall profile. When you collapse this rifle, it's only about 20 inches totally in length. Makes a great backpack gun. Let's talk about this trigger here. The trigger feels great. I would call it an upgrade. It does not feel like your standard AR trigger. It's got a nice clean, it feels like it's enhanced. I'm not sure that it is. The reset is crisp as well. It's got a really nice break. Feels great. You know, guys, when you're shooting rifle triggers with a pistol grip, it really doesn't matter. You can put that trigger scale on and you can see how hard it is to pull or how many pounds it is. It really doesn't matter because when you take that grip, when you are gripping here, you are creating leverage when you pull that trigger. So regardless of how heavy that trigger pull is with your scale, it's always going to feel lighter when you have a pistol grip because you're going to have extra leverage, okay? So we've also got an ambidextrous safety selector here on either side. I am actually moving it from the strong hand side, and you can see it moving on this side. Hopefully you can see. So it doesn't matter if you're a lefty or for some reason you want to activate it from this side, you can do so because it is truly ambidextrous. It also has a flared magwell here. So we have bevels that enhance that mag change for you. If you're a little nervous, your adrenaline's pumping. By the way, when I'm doing mag changes, I like to run my finger alongside the magazine. It helps me guide it in. It kind of depends on what magazine I'm using. Sometimes I'll have my finger on the front, sometimes I'll have it on the side. But I will tell you that this magwell is definitely a very nice feature as well. Internally, it's got an M16 profile mil-spec BCG. BCG, more terminology for you, bolt carrier group, BCG. An M16 profile bolt carrier group is rated for full auto. This is not an automatic machine gun. It's not a machine gun. It's not automatic. It is semi-automatic. But the fact that it has that M16 profile BCG means it's going to handle lots of hard use and those fast cycling triggers if you decide to change that trigger out as well. It also has an enhanced buffer system that's designed to function suppressed or unsuppressed without reliability issues. And of course, as expected of any Daniel Defense AR, the upper and lower receivers are 7075 T6 aluminum. That's an upgrade, built to be tough and withstand lots of hard use. Now, let's talk about some of the nitty-gritty stuff involved in NFA items. This is an SBR, and if you're intimidated by the process involved in buying an SBR, let me break it down for you. It's really quite simple. When you buy an SBR or any NFA item, you're going to file a Form 4. This is the form the ATF uses to transfer existing NFA items. Now, you can file the Form 4 with e-forms electronically. That drastically cuts down the time that it takes to process the form, sometimes down to as little as 90 days instead of nearly a year with the old paper form. So remember, e-forms I'm kind of making an E with my fingers here. That's the way to go. You want to go with the E forms. Form 4 requires you to provide your fingerprints and photos, some personal information, as well as information regarding the item that you're buying, the make, model, the serial number, and you have to answer a series of questions. You'll also pay a $200 tax stamp fee to the ATF, a necessary part of the process, unfortunately. And you can simply include, this is cool though, this is convenient, listen to this. You can simply include your debit or credit card information on the Form 4 for payment. At least they've made it convenient for you. Once the form is approved, you'll be called by your transferring gun shop or your FFL dealer. You'll come in, you'll fill out a 4473 form, the same form that you'll fill out as if you're buying a gun off the shelf. The shop will run a background check, the same kind, like I said, if you're buying or transferring a regular firearm, the SBR, whatever NFA item you may be purchasing, the same process for a suppressor as well, for instance. Now, if you decide to buy this particular SBR through Big Daddy Unlimited, you'll be walked through the whole process by a customer service rep who has experience with and specializes in NFA items. So that's nice as well. Check out the Daniel Defense DDM4 PDW on the Big Daddy Unlimited member site. And if you're not a member, just hit that link in the description and you can join today for 99 cents for a 30-day trial membership with full benefits. Access to not only this cool item, but 300,000 other awesome Second Amendment related items on our website. Guns, ammo, optics, holsters, accessories, survival gear, lots of other cool Second Amendment related stuff. And you'll also have access to our award-winning customer service department. Live people, friends of mine that are working right here in our Gainesville, Florida headquarters that are very proud to take your call, answer your questions with their expert knowledge, and give you that VIP customer service that you expect and deserve, and that I expect to have as well. All right, guys, I'm looking at my watch because my time is up. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and we'll see you again soon on The Gun Show.